Hello, my name is Himanshu Wagh, and I am currently a first-year medical student at California North State University. The university that I go at is called California North State University. It's located a little bit of south of Sacramento, like 30 minutes away from Sacramento City. I'm majoring in medicine, so I'm actually in medical school. So how medical school works is you get a degree in you get a bachelor's of science degree from 4 years of undergraduate college, and then after that, then you apply to med school and then get in. So the degree I'll get after I graduate medical school is the MD degree, medical doctorate, and that's basically my major. I chose to be a doctor because it was the only profession that really called out to me. So I honestly I enjoy the process of becoming a doctor. And that's why I wanted to do this profession as well. 4 years of science was the undergraduate. So I actually enjoyed all those classes like biology, chemistry, microbiology, all those types of classes that were very scientifically inclined. I really enjoyed learning about those types of processes. So I was comparing that to my other career options. So like the ones that my parents were okay with was like computer science. Although I didn't enjoy that too much, like I felt like the process of learning computer science would be a lot of things that I wouldn't enjoy. And also just being a computer scientist felt like, or like other professions, felt like they didn't have as much of an impact on the community as being a doctor would. And those are two of the reasons I chose to be a doctor. Another reason is like it's just very fun to help people. It's very fulfilling. So I knew that as a job, as my like during my job as being a doctor, I'd feel gratified with myself that I'd be making a difference in the world every day after I come home from work. So there's lots of hardships in this profession. First of all, it's a very, very hard process. Like just the 4 years of undergraduate, that's 4 years that you're really not making any money after you graduate. So after you get a BS degree, then you'll be applying for another 4 years of college again. So it's really hard for people who have like low economic status. There's lots of barriers to people like that to become a doctor because generally people take loans for the first 4 years and then they get a job after that. But then if you want to be a doctor, you're taking more loans for medical school as well. And it's really, really high fees no matter where you go. The average is about 70K per year for medical school fees. So loans end up being a lot of money. And I know a lot of people who are not very financially like they're not upper class or they're not like high middle class. So it's very hard for them to pay the fees. So people end up getting really big loans on their backs. So that's a huge financial problem. And it takes a long time to pay those loans off as well. Another problem is just very hard and very competitive in general. So those 4 years of undergraduate, even if you get a perfect 4.0 GPA, it's not enough to get into medical school. Like everyone that goes through undergrad needs to do a lot of shadowing, a lot of volunteering, a lot of research, just a lot of like a job experience as well. The average year that people have to wait to get into medical school is I think 2 to 3 years. And the average age of medical school applicants, like first year medical students, is older as well. So it's not even that you spend 4 years and then 4 years. It's usually 4 years and two gap years and another 4 years. So it takes 10 years total to actually finally finish um, the MD program. So it's just very long and it's very difficult. And you have to take lots of standardized tests. Like one of them is the MCAT that you take after 4 years of bachelor's. And that's a very hard test. It's rated actually the hardest test in America. So yeah, it's very difficult. And then you need to get a really good score on that and then go into medical school. And then medical school is really challenging as well with all of its own problems. But actually being a doctor is not easy on its own either because the field keeps changing. And if you want to become the best doctor and give the best care possible to your patients, you need to keep reading up on new research, like what's the newest medication that helps this problem the best? What do you actually do when this is the problem versus what do you do when this is the problem? There's lots of new research that's constantly changing the field of medicine. So it's even hard being a doctor as well. And if you mess up, you're not just like messing up something small that's like fixable. You're messing up like someone's life and how they interact and like how they're going to live beyond that. So it's very high stakes as well. So those are some really hardships. So some advice I'd give to someone who wants to be a doctor is you need to really want to be a doctor in order to go through this process. It's so tedious and it takes so much work that if you're in it for the money, there's no point because there's a million other ways you can make money without having to be a doctor to do that. Like they say it pays well and it does pay well, but it takes so much of your time and so much of your life to get there that if you're into money, then it would probably be better becoming like pursuing some other career to get money instead of being a doctor to get money because it just takes so long to pay off those loans as well. Like you're not going to be living rich even when you're a doctor in the beginning. You're going to be struggling a lot and then make that money. But yeah, so you'd really need to be dedicated. And it takes a lot of motivation to get through and do all these things that you need to do to get into medical school and even complete medical school. So if your only reason is money, then there's no point of being a doctor. And it's going to be a really hard journey. So some advice I'd give to people who are bound by society's restrictions in following their dreams, like what I can think about some examples of society's restrictions is like what parents want. That's the main one that I had to struggle with. Like I wasn't really allowed to choose too much other than being a doctor or an engineer or something like that, or some other high paying profession. I didn't really have that much of a choice. Although it is really good to do something that you want to do in life. But the best thing that you like, but a lot of people actually don't know what options are even out there. So what I really want people to do is look into the options that are available. There's so many professions and so many resources online that help people find out what there is in this world. And then once you actually explore all those options, then it's actually good to pick what you want. So if you're not really sure in what you want to do, I would say take some time, like maybe apply undecided for college, and then like go into the college and just take some time to figure out yourself. But time itself won't tell. You'll really need to do research to find out what's out there, see the pros and cons of certain professions, and then like maybe shadow people who do that profession and see if you actually enjoy it. Because I've seen a lot of people who go and follow dreams that just their parents wanted them to do. Like even in medical school, I see a lot of people whose parents just force them to go into medical school. But those people don't end up doing too well because it takes a lot of self-motivation to do things that you want in life and actually enjoy them. So people who like didn't really want to do this end up like dropping out or not wanting to pursue this career anymore. And that's something that applies to all careers actually. You should do something that you want. Although society does have its restrictions, like parents won't let you do certain things, but it takes like a lot of research. And in a lot of cases, if you want to do something and it's going to make you happy, that should be enough and you should follow yourself.